Going to chemo. This is, what number chemo is this? This is number
14?
14? 15, 16. Number 14. I mean, there's 16 total, so. Okay. And Jim is coming.
Let's do it. You do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that sounds a little too enthusiastic.
Oh, you know what? I need to shoot.
What do you need?
I need to, I didn't leave a message on my phone at work.
Oh. While he's doing that, I'm gonna show you, we cleaned up I told you we were cleaning the living room. It looks really good. The kitchen you have to ignore because some of the mess from Millie's watching us leave. So cute. But some of the mess from the living room ended up in the kitchen. But right now, and there's some of Millie's toys on the thing. A lot of plants went outside, so it's not such jungle in here anymore. You want your toys? Here you go. And changed out some of the artwork. And I reorganized the bookshelves. We've been skipping working out on Sundays, which is actually, both of us are really gotten in a mode where we don't even take a day off from exercise. But lately, the last 3 weeks, we've taken a day off. And 2 of them we've spent doing cleaning indoors, and 1 of them we've spent doing yard work outdoors. Anyway, time to go to chemo. Let's go home and play hooky. We can clean my office. You know chemo sucks when you'd rather be cleaning your office. Actually, I really like cleaning. It's my new passion. Well, we're almost there and it sucks, but you know what? Every almost is one almost closer to almost done.
Yeah. After today, 2 to go.
Yeah. How does that feel to you?
Feels great. It's going to be great too because you're going to get a 3-week break.
Yeah. That's gonna suck. Because after a 3-week break, it's gonna be hard to go back and do more cancer treatment.
Well, look at it this way: you'll get 3 weeks to clean.
Right. That's right.
Imagine how clean the house is going to get in those 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh. So it's Monday. I just went to chemo, and my regular nurse was not there. She's out sick. So I had a replacement who didn't know anything about me. My doctor was in the cancer center seeing patients, and apparently too busy to communicate with me directly. So this nurse was getting ready, to put in the order for my chemo, and I told her that my dose had been changing. I've been reevaluated every week, and I'd been getting 80% of the standard dose. And I'd been communicating with my regular nurse, who was then on my behalf communicating with the doctor, and then they'd make this decision, and I had no idea what dose they were planning or if that communication had happened. So she said, well, why don't you tell me, because the concern is neuropathy. I have this hypersensitivity in my fingers. Neuropathy can become numbness and pain and tingling in your extremities it's caused by the chemo. And my doctor is very concerned about it because she sees with some of her patients it doesn't go away. It's not necessarily a temporary thing, and it can affect your quality of life. And frankly, I already have discomfort doing things that are sort of intense for my fingers. I mean, like trying to peel an orange or untie a tight knot, or, worst of all, I mean, the most important of all, like, wipe my butt after a bowel movement, you know? So, I mean, the idea of it getting worse, and so far I can do everything. It's just a little uncomfortable. But if it gets worse and it becomes prohibitive and then never goes away, that's a huge issue for my life, for the rest of my life. And so this is why my dose has been monitored so closely and my symptoms are monitored closely. So I told her what I was experiencing, and she went back to the doctor and interrupted her with a patient, came back and said she wants you to take 75. So I assumed that meant 75%. I've been getting 80%. I was under the impression we would never go below 80%. So I was very surprised by that, and I was concerned that my symptoms had been overstated, and I started to express this concern to the nurse, and she looked like really stressed. She didn't roll her eyes, she kind of had this look. She said, so what do you want me to do? You want me to tell her to raise the dose? And I said, I don't know. I don't know what needs to happen. I don't know what her thinking is. I don't know. This is very difficult with a go-between. So she ended up leaving and coming back again and saying, okay, she's giving you 80. So, and then in the meantime, while the nurse was gone, Jim and I were talking, and I was saying, wow, really? Maybe 75 is, maybe that it's that much of an alarming thing, and that 75 is okay, and, I don't want to be pushing for more if it's dangerous, and so she comes back and she's saying that it sounds like now she's telling me the dose has been raised, and I said, well, gosh, I'm having, I tried to say, well, I'm having second thoughts, and she said, well, it's done now. It's a done deal. But the other thing is, like, when someone's treating you like they're finding you annoying, and they're the person who's going to be digging around for a vein in your arm, it's really uncomfortable. I just said, I need a minute. I need a minute. This is very stressful. So she walked out.
And it was very clear that she lost perspective of the fact that this is a cancer center. People come in here in all kinds of different circumstances, and this is hard stuff, and they cannot be dealt with like next in line at a 7-Eleven or whatever. Move along.
And when the nurse came back, I realized that in that time I realized that I wasn't really clear what she said, what she was telling me the dose was, whether it had changed or whether she had just misunderstood, so I tried to ask her some questions about it. So did she raise the dose on the basis of what I had told you? Or, and then she said, no, it's the same. Nothing has changed. It's the same. It's the standard dose. And now she's saying standard dose, and I'm thinking, but I usually get 80% of the standard dose. So it was, she goes, finally, when I'm asking her these questions, she said, do you want me to go get the chart? And I said, I just want to know if you're saying 80% or 80 units. And she goes, you want me to get the chart? Like, I don't care. I just want the answer. If that's what it takes, sure. So she leaves. And then she comes back and says, I can't get the chart. She's with a patient. She has the chart, meaning my doctor. But she gets she has a little slip of paper that the doctor has written down the numbers, what I've been getting, like, for the last six treatments or something. And so we're looking at these numbers. So, okay, so it was 80% here, it was 80%. We went up to 88% at one point, and we went back down to 80. And now what she actually wants to do is go up to the 88% again. So first, I'm under the impression I'm getting a lower dose. Then I'm under the impression I'm getting the same dose I've been getting recently. Now I'm being told, no, it's a raised dose. And at this point, the nurse is saying, look, we're running out of time. At this point, you either need to just take this or come back tomorrow. And she kept pushing this idea. I could come back when Bonnie's here, who's my regular nurse. Why don't you come back when Bonnie's here? Come back another day when Bonnie's here. And I kept saying, no, I don't want to do that. And I didn't go into the details, but the details are, psychologically, it takes a lot to prep myself to come. physically, there's a lot of prep that went into this. My husband took a day off from work. Those are precious days. He's taking vacation days to spend with me at chemo. Then he'll have to take more time to be with me if we come another day. I'm not liking the idea of postponing chemo and making more gap between each treatment. It doesn't seem like that's good for my prognosis. My car is in the shop. I don't have a ride. I don't want to drive. We have a truck. I could drive the truck, but the truck is problematic and it's slower, and it just doesn't. I don't want to drive home from chemo in the truck. It's an exhausting ride in that truck. But throughout the process, I finally came to realize they're not going to give me the information I need to make it feel like I can go ahead with chemo today. But I was trying. I was thinking, can I come to terms with this? Can I just be okay with the 88%? And I asked for 5 minutes to is there enough time for 5 minutes to think about this? And she said yes. And then I think I asked her one other question, and I asked Jim how he felt about it, and Jim said he felt okay about it. And I was like listening to Jim, and I nodded, and I was like, okay. And then she was out of the room, and we're assuming she's going to the pharmacy to put the order in without me saying clearly, no, you know. And then there's this overriding concern, like, if they make my drug and I'm not taking it, is insurance going to cover this? Am I going to be, like, I can't let them go make this mix of drug and then refuse it. I don't know what's going to happen if that happens. Or will they, like, have to keep it till the next day, and will it still be any good, and will they even think of that? So I ended up saying to Jim, I'm really uncomfortable with this, and I just walked out down the hall. Asked someone, and where's the pharmacy? I found her, and I told her, yeah, I was going to go home. And what I didn't tell you about part of the conversation that happened in the hallway there outside the pharmacy part was that when she was saying, like, and that I should come back another day, and I was saying, when Bonnie's here, I was like, I'll do that. That's what I'm gonna do. But my concern is that I feel like whether it's Bonnie or not, I still feel like I'll need to have a conversation with my doctor to clarify what her thinking is. And she's like, and she will not, and she cannot, and she's like, I was like, I know, I'm not asking you to get her to talk to me right now. I'm just saying that, like, that I feel like I'm going to need to talk to her. And she's like, well, she wouldn't even, like, say, I'll let her know or anything. She just was like, why don't you, I don't even know what she said, but it could have been like, why don't you just come back when Bonnie's here or something? It was like, I can't deal with, the feeling was like, I can't deal with you.
Right.
Like, okay.
Well, I have to wonder, too, if there isn't this message, subtle or not so subtle, that the doctors give to the nurses, which is, I can't be bothered. Mm-hmm. You deal with this.
Right. Yeah.
And that if they have to seek out the doctor, it's somehow looked at as a negative.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, which would compound the pressure that they feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.